Chat window नहीं है। Good evening and welcome to the third and the last live interaction session for the course on Introduction to Aircraft Design. I noticed that there are already a lot of questions or comments in the chat window, which I'm going to address one by one. So Shantanu Gulavani, the teaching assistant, is present here, but the other one, Nomanuddin, since he had some commitment at 5 o'clock, he is going off. So Yashpal Singh Parmar had the first question about we have to remember all formulae in this course. All formulae will be given in the exam because there are so many and complex formulae throughout the course structure. So Yashpal Singh, let me tell you that we are not going to give you any formula sheet, but we also don't want or expect you to remember all the formulae in detail. We expect you to understand the fundamentals of aircraft design. And if you have done all the assignments carefully and truthfully, if you have gone through all the videos, and if you have taken advantage of the discussion forum and asked your doubts and clarifications, you will not be having a problem with the formulae, because the formulae which we will expect you to remember will be simple formulae, not the very large and major formulae that we have in the course. Okay, so standard formulae like CD equal to half rho V square S, and D equal to half rho V square S CD, or such simple formulae we are expecting you to remember. Yashpal Singh has also sent thanks to Shantanu for correcting the assignments. Yes, some mistakes did crop in the assignments, and he has corrected them. Okay. Sumukh Lakshmisha, good evening. Welcome to all the participants, not only Sumukh or Yashpal Singh. We will start our session now. So I have a few slides to show you. So the agenda point for today's interaction are as follows. First, I'm going to talk about the date of the final examination so that you remember it. I will discuss about the pattern that we will follow in the question paper. I'll then open the floor for taking some feedback or suggestions or any complaints that you may have against me or the two teaching assistants who have been helping me to conduct this course, or even from the NPTEL staff. If you have any complaints, we will take that. We will open up the floor for any queries, and then in the end, I will acknowledge some people who have been instrumental in making this course go live and to be available to all of you. So the first question is the final examination date. So your exam is going to be held on Saturday, 29th of October, which I would like you to mark in your calendars. Okay, so those who have registered for examinations for this course, you will be appearing for the examinations at various centers in the country on 29th October, which is a Saturday. This is the pattern of the question paper. The question paper will consist of 3 parts. Part A will have multiple choice questions in which only one of the choices is going to be correct. So they will be relatively easier. Many of these are going to be similar to the questions which have been asked to you in the assignments. In fact, many of the questions in the MCQ are taken straight away from the assignments also, the first 10 of them. And that's why we are giving you only 1 mark per question, and we are going to give you only total of 10 minutes to do them, because they are basically recall type questions. Then there are also some 10 multiple choice questions where only 1 choice is correct. Those are a bit difficult, so you will take 20 minutes to answer them. They are not straight away from the assignments. After that, we go to part B. In part B, earlier we used to give a crossword, but then there are some operational difficulties in giving you a hard copy of the crossword, without which it is very difficult to solve a crossword. So therefore, this year we have made a change. We are now going for what is called as fill in the blanks, FTB. So you will be asked a question where you have to fill in the blanks. And as a help to you, we are going to write in brackets the number of letters in the answer. So if the answer is, for example, if the answer is load, LOAD, so in bracket there will be 4. So that will give you a hint that the answer to the question is consisting of 4 letters. Okay, is it clear? So that is the full fill in the blanks question. There are 30 questions and there are 20 marks. So each of them will get 2 by 3 marks. And you will be expected to spend approximately 40 minutes. And then we have part C, which is the most difficult part. And hence also it has, 30 questions with 30 marks. Largest number of marks and largest time allotted to it, about 1 hour. There you will have MSQ, multiple select questions, 10 of them. Each of them will get 2 marks because more than one choice may be correct. Remember, there are some MSQ questions in which only one choice is correct, but there are some in which more than one is correct. Maybe 2 are correct, maybe 3 are correct, maybe all 4 are correct. Maybe there are 5 choices and all 5 are correct. We don't want to limit ourselves on anything. So when you answer all the correct choices, you will get the 2 marks. We don't plan to give any partial marks for this question. So be very careful when you answer this. Similarly, there are going to be 5 MSQs of 2 marks each, which will require 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 marks. And then lastly, we will have 15 questions which are numericals from the entire course. These questions are going to have 2 marks per question. In that, we are going to ask you to give your answer in a particular number of digits, maybe as a whole number, maybe as 1 digit, maybe as 2 digit. So remember, read carefully how many digits of the answer are needed and give the complete number, because these are not checked manually. These are checked computer by computer. So if the answer is 0.015 and it is mentioned that it should be in 2 digits, and if you write 0.015, it may read it as 0.01, and that will be wrong answer because 0.015 is 0.02. So be very careful, round up the numbers to the correct value when you answer. So a total of 80 questions which should carry 100 marks, and we expect that you will be engaged for about 3 hours in attempting the question paper. So don't try to leave in a hurry. Don't try to finish off in a hurry. You have 3 hours. Use the entire 3 hours to properly check and to recheck and to recheck your answers. And only then you should leave the hall. Some questions may look deceptively very simple, but there may be a catch somewhere. So read the statement once, twice, thrice. Be sure and only then answer. Many people are used to multiple choice questions where they can figure out the correct answer by eliminating the others. But in multiple select questions, which consists of around 30 marks, there could be more than one, and therefore you have to be very careful about the questions. Okay, friends, now we open the floor for any feedback or any suggestions that you have regarding the course, or if you have any complaints. But in the meantime, there are a couple of comments on the chat which I will take up. Sumukh has said, can you provide a mock test so that we can familiarize ourselves with the exam pattern? So I'm sorry, Sumukh, we don't have that option. Since we have already described to you in detail what is going to be there in the examination, except the questions, we have told you everything, what sequence will be followed, what type of questions, so you should be able to take care of that. Yashpal Singh has a question. Sir, you have sent one competition event, so is this course enough for the competition? The answer is yes and no, because Yashpal Singh, this particular course generally covers basic aircraft design approaches, whereas the competition is addressing a specific problem related to hybrid propulsion or electric propulsion. I don't I have not covered hybrid propulsion in my course, but the fundamentals of aircraft design will definitely be useful there. So, especially that competition called as NACDAC 6, for example, is consisting of two parts. There is going to be an initial synopsis submission, which is just to check whether the team is serious or committed or not, and whether they already have an idea about what is going to be the main challenge in front of them and what is going to be their approach to do it, what is their readiness. That is the purpose of the synopsis. But when you are selected for part A, then you can use the aircraft design principles taught in this course to do part A. You will not need much more than that, except maybe you have to get some familiarization with the procedure for calculations relevant to the hybrid propulsion aircraft and some amount of helicopter related things, because most likely you will be designing an aircraft which will have vertical takeoff and landing capability. Part B of the competition is more detailed, and you will have to work beyond just this course and get some more information. Okay, so that is for Yashpal Singh. Rohan Ramchandran has just joined. He has a doubt. He says, doesn't current aircraft design have morphed wings? Because during the three basic phases of flight, that is the flaps, flaperon, and strut assembly, seamlessly shift during flight. Rohan, the answer is correct. Morphing in aircraft has always been there, right from the first aircraft flown by the Wright brothers, where the wingtips were flexed, and that is basically morphing. The shape of the wingtips was changed to provide the turning moment or the yawing moment. Correct? So morphing has been a part of aircraft right from the beginning. And yes, flaps, flaperons, and slats are a mechanism by which morphing takes place. But the amount of the duration of time during which flaps or flaperon or slats are, flaperon is a different thing because it has an aileron also. But flaps and slats are utilized only during takeoff and landing, which corresponds to a very small part of the total flight cycle of an aircraft, maybe about 5%. But during the climb, during the cruise, during the descent, okay, during climb, flaps are also deployed. But let us say, if you look at only the cruise segment, generally we do not see much morphing. When we talk about morphing aircraft today, we are talking about aircraft that change their shape radically, okay, more than just flaps. Of course, flap deflection also, if you have a triple slotted Fowler flap and leading edge flap, the transformation is phenomenal. Okay, and that is exactly what is morphing. So to answer your question specifically, yes, current aircraft also have morphing, but the morphing that we are recommending for the newer aircraft is either very high amplitude and very small frequency, or very small amplitude but very high frequency to do active control, etc. Okay, right. Moving back now to our interaction session. Shall we have any feedback or any suggestions or complaints? Rohan has another question. He says, from this course and the prescribed textbook, can I develop a conceptual design of a plane which can fit into the empty spaces of range velour diagram? The answer is 100% true. Rohan, you definitely can use the knowledge that you gained in this course. Definitely you can use it to come up with the conceptual design of an aircraft that fits into the unexplored terrain. Sumukh said, I think in the previous session you said that MSQ doesn't carry partial marking only in the assignment, but it will be there in the final examination. May I kindly now know the decision was changed? Sumukh, the decision today is that the multiple select questions are going to be evaluated very strictly. However, what happens is when we get the results from the NPTEL, we look at how many people are, how the performance, and sometimes we become a bit lenient and we say, okay, we will permit partial marking. Currently my thinking is that I will not permit partial marking, okay, because according to me, when you give multiple choice questions and the students know that there is partial marking or there is only one correct, they start doing guesswork, and we want to discourage guesswork. We want people to answer confidently. So therefore, as it stands today, the decision is that there will be no partial marking. But I may change my decision in the favor of the students, because giving partial marking is a leniency and I have the right to be lenient or not to be lenient depending on our assessment of the performance of the students. If we find that many students are failing or many students are getting very poor marks because of partial marking being not there in the case of MSQs, we might take a decision to give partial marks. Sometimes we do that. But the decision on paper today, or as it stands today, the principle is that marks will be given only if all choices are marked. Okay, sir. Yashpal Singh says, the last thing I want to say, that you made me fall in love with aeronautics. Thank you for your great explanation. And whenever I'll bring my first aircraft, I'll definitely involve you, as I told you. Yes, Yashpal Singh, very good. I'm happy that I'm able to inspire someone to fall in love with aeronautics, just like I am myself in love with this field right from the beginning. When I joined my college initially in the first or the second year, I was actually not very motivated, to be very frank and honest with you. In the first year, of course, I was demotivated because at that time, my idea or my passion was electrical engineering. I wanted to join electrical engineering. I could not get it because I did not score so many high marks. As you know, electrical is one of the top branches in all good colleges. So I was the last student to be admitted to my college, and the only seat available to me was in aeronautical engineering. So I took that seat because I wanted to be an engineer other than anything else. And in the first year, I was very much dejected and disappointed because we were told by our seniors that, oh, you have taken a branch where there are no jobs available, etc., etc. They demoralized us. During the During the second year, the third semester to be precise, one of our faculty members, he instilled a lot of interest in us. He taught us a subject called as strength of materials, and we attended all the classes because of his fantastic teaching ability and his teaching style. And with him, we got interested into the subject. But my passion for aeronautics started when I went for summer training to VSSC Trivandrum. This was in the summer of 1980. So during the summer vacation between second year and third year, I was very lucky to get a 2-month internship at VSSC Trivandrum in the aerodynamics department in what was at that time called as the heat transfer facility. Working with ISRO scientists for 2 months and interacting with them immediately changed my outlook towards aerospace engineering. And from then onwards, I became very serious and committed. So yes, you need someone to inspire you. You need someone to motivate you. In my case, the inspiration came from my stint at VSSC Trivandrum, working with Mr. Alok Banerjee, who was my immediate supervisor, and also with other people. There were many good people that time working in that particular laboratory. I remember Dr. T.K. Prahlad, who was the head of aerodynamics at that time. I used to also interact with him. They are the people who motivated me. Okay, so coming back, Rohan has a question. For creating aerodynamic efficient airplane, why don't aircraft manufacturers use NLF design concept in commercial planes, which is implied in Honda Jet? There is a very simple reason. NLF design stands for natural laminar flow. That means provision to maintain laminar flow over a very large portion of the wing or the fuselage as compared to conventional aerofoils. In a conventional fuselage, you can expect laminar flow only for about the front 5%, maybe 10%, and on the wing, maybe up to 15%, okay, 20%. But in case of very proper aerodynamic shaping, you can probably push the laminar flow on a fuselage to about 30-40%, and on the wing you can push it back to even 50% by using a natural laminar flow aerofoil. However, laminar flow is very difficult to maintain and to sustain, because any small deformation, any small scratch, any small disturbance onto the surface of the aircraft will trip the boundary layer from laminar to turbulent, and then the flow will become turbulent, you will have much more drag. So creating a laminar flow aerofoil or a wing, NLF wing, is easy, but sustaining it and maintaining it in the service with so many insects which are present in the atmosphere and they get stuck onto the surface, or during the operation of the aircraft, as time passes, some components, some small rivets may project outside, some deformation may take place, which is structurally acceptable, but it will spoil the aerodynamics. While assembly of the various components, they go for maintenance, then you put them back. For example, you install spoilers, you install the flaps, there may be small gaps. So during the service life of the aircraft, there are slight deformations in the structure, and that becomes the source for tripping the boundary layer on the laminar flow aerofoil. So therefore, in practical aircraft, it is very difficult to sustain, and hence the aerospace companies do not insist on the NLF design for larger aircraft. But for smaller aircraft, aircraft which are owned by companies or by individuals, okay, there many people have attempted. For example, Honda Jet, which is a very special aircraft. Okay, so there they have tried to incorporate concepts like this, which can be managed. Rohan has another question which says, if I have a conceptual design idea, shall I proceed with HOQ chart and end with VN diagram as per the course design? No, 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 no. I don't think you should go in this sequence. You see, the HOQ chart is used first to arrive at the understanding of the requirements. How can you do aircraft design? So the first thing you do is HOQ, correct? So to get an idea about which features and which schemes are going to be useful. And then, of course, yes, you can start systematically the way we have done in the course. The first thing you do will be initial sizing to get an idea about the aircraft gross weight. Then you may say, okay, let us look at various configurations, etc. Yeah, so you are right, and you can continue with that. Pranay has some good words for me. Then Rohan has, after having conceptual design, how to put forward my idea to reach the mass. That's very difficult, Rohan. I wish I had an answer for this question. You may have fundamentally different ideas, and you may be able to show something on paper, but convincing experts that your design is worthwhile and it is worthy of exploration requires a lot of conviction, power of conviction, as well as a lot of study and evaluation, testing, and proving. Then only people will believe you. So you have to try. Ultimately, what happens is once you build a credibility by doing some work in the past, then based on your credibility, people start believing you. So maybe initially when you start doing aircraft conceptual design, you may not be able to put the idea to the masses because they may not be able to really believe what you are saying because you are not a known figure or an expert figure. This happens to everybody. Okay. Everybody who is trying to excel in a particular field faces some initial disturbance. But once you establish your credentials, then people look at you seriously. So one good way is to join under the supervision of some expert and then use that person's knowledge and expertise as well as that person's connections to get into the good books of the masses. Pranay says he's in second year at MIT University in Mumbai in aerospace. He wants to enter under me for future ahead of second year. How could you guide me? So Pranay, I don't want you to come here when you are in the second year because you would be of no use. Second year students do not know much about aerospace engineering or subjects, and you will come and literally waste your time because you will not be able to probably appreciate or contribute. So what will happen is you will come for internship, and then because you don't have the background, we will assign you some very simple, almost like clerical work, like making some graphs or doing some CFD runs, just running the code or some such things. Instead, what you should do is, since you're in second year, you should increase your knowledge base by attending more and more NPTEL courses in various subjects, structures, propulsion, guidance and control, design, aerodynamics, etc. Build up your background so that you are able to absorb the knowledge and information. internship should be done after you acquire some basic fundamental knowledge. So it's not a good idea to go somewhere very early. Okay. In my case, I was lucky because in my case, ISRO had actually asked for interns. And when we went there, we were assigned to some people and they looked after us. They gave us proper training. Today, when you go for internship, people don't have the time to give you internship training. So therefore, unless you are equipped to handle some of the tasks, you will end up wasting your time. So my recommendation to you is you can come for internship at the end of third year. But there is one exception I would like to make. That is two things. One is if you do very well in the NPTEL courses, let's say if you top the course in the country, you come in the first or second position, highest marks in the country, then maybe you can get some internship under the same professor by NPTEL itself. NPTEL normally asks the faculty members who take courses whether they will be happy to give internship. And I normally say yes, I give one or two internships to. Right now, as I speak to you, there is one student who has topped my previous NPTEL course on LTA systems, and he is right now with me for an intern. Interestingly, he is a class 11 student. He is in class 11, not even engineering, but he topped my course, got the highest marks, and his school has given him 2 months leave to come and work with me. He's working with me till 10th of November. Okay, so when you get internship like this from NPTEL, you get a small amount of financial support, not much, but still every little helps. And plus it becomes very prestigious. The other way to do internship in IIT Bombay under a professor is to take part in what is called as the IRCC Research Internship Program, wherein we float projects, students choose three of them, then they get interviewed. Very recently, about a week ago, 10 days ago, we have actually finished the interviews and selected candidates. Under this scheme, every faculty member gets only one student, and the students can come for 4 months to 6 months. And the good news is that IIT gives a scholarship of rupees 15,000 a month to each intern. And plus, there is some money available to make things or to try out some things. So these are the internships you should do rather than simply writing to somebody and say, hey, take me as an intern. That doesn't really work. You should earn your internship. You should not, you should not beg or demand for internship. When I went to ISRO, I did not write to ISRO. ISRO wrote to our college and said, we want interns. Okay. Similarly, go for NPTEL internship, go for IRCC internship in IIT Bombay. There is a similar program in IIT Madras. There is a similar program in IIT Kanpur. There may be a similar thing in other IITs also. So when you go for such internships, it becomes very prestigious. Okay. Rohan says, because even if it is mounted on the fuselage or under the wings, parasite drag increases. But this I am not able to understand. Maybe it was connected to a previous question. So Rohan, can you please type the full question, because I'm just reading half a sentence and I'm not able to correlate with any previous question. So please type your previous question or type both the questions together, and then I'll be able to take it up. Okay, so after spending some time in soliciting feedback from you, I would still actually, I have not got much feedback. So I'm interested to know from the students, how did they feel about the course? Is there something that we should change? Is there something we should do differently? Is there something that needs to be added? Is there something that needs to be deleted, which is not interesting, boring, incorrect, not required? Do you have any complaints? Complaints against me for anything I taught? Complaint against the people who uploaded the material? Complaint against the teaching assistants who are supposed to be available for discussion forum? That is what I would like you to type now. In the next few minutes, I would like to seek feedback, suggestions, and complaints. Don't try to praise us. Don't try to appreciate us. That doesn't help us. Give us something constructive. Okay. Writing that Professor Pant, you are a wonderful teacher, doesn't help me at all. It doesn't help me. What helps me is that, make this change, make that change, try to bring this, try to bring that. That gives me an idea. And that helps me in then trying to, if everything that you say, I may not be able to do. I have my own limitations. Okay. So friend, we don't have too much time. We have only about 25 minutes remaining. So therefore, I would like you to take advantage of this particular session and give us your feedback, give us your suggestions, and also raise your complaints or queries. So the floor is open. VVM says, I want to ask you about branch, but your assistant is deleting my comments continuously. So whoever is my assistant deleting comments, don't delete the comment, please. Let him ask his question. If it is not relevant, I will not read the questions. I will do the filtering. You don't do the filtering. So please don't delete anybody's comments. All the people who are there on my, maybe the teaching assistants, okay? Okay, Rohan says, I feel the assignment questions, especially numericals, are too straightforward. Yes, Rohan, they are meant to be straightforward because they are not meant to test your knowledge or your capacity to solve. They are only meant to test whether you have actually seen the videos carefully and seriously. Okay. We have no mechanism to confirm that you have watched the videos. And without watching the videos, you actually don't get any exposure to the course. Correct? You may watch the video like a movie. No need to remember just the excitement, just the interesting things there. But when we ask you numericals on that, and we give you time, because in the assignment, you have all the time to answer the question. So yes, if you feel that they were very straightforward, next time onwards, we will take your feedback and we will try to make them little bit more complicated. But remember one thing, if we make things complicated in the assignments, students lose interest in the course. Students feel that, this is too difficult, I cannot do it, they drop the course. And because of that, sometimes we feel that it is better to give a simple question in the assignment, and maybe we can check the real knowledge and the real application in the examination. But there can be different opinions. Some people like Rohan, they might get frustrated because, oh, it's very simple and very straightforward. So yes, we are open to that and we will try to make the questions little bit more complicated. Our thinking was that you make it easy so that students don't get demoralized. So may I request the other students to also comment? Rohan feels that the questions were too straightforward. But what about the other people? What do you feel? The other people in the meeting? Maybe you can also share your views. And also VVM, please ask your question once again. And I will request no one to delete those questions. As I said, if the question is frivolous, I will read and ignore. A question which involves some thought process can help us learn more about this course. Yes, Rohan, but then you have the textbook by Anderson with you, and that book has some questions in the back. You can utilize those questions to check your understanding. It would be convenient and appealing if errors in the assignment are checked before posting. Sumukh, this is a very valid point. Normally in our course, we don't have problems in the assignments, errors in the assignment. But this year, I'm sorry, I apologize. There have been, especially in the assignment on the constraint analysis, we had to repost the whole answers because they were not matching. Okay, so this is a message to the teaching assistants who made the assignments that because of your carelessness, I would say, students are getting very upset. Okay, so Sumukh, I appreciate your comment. Your honest feedback is taken well. It will definitely be attempted, but remember one thing that yeah, I mean there is no excuse. There should be no errors in the assignments. I completely agree with you. So I take responsibility for the errors in the assignment. Okay, anything else? But one more thing I found is that because there are assignment errors, there was a lot of discussion in the forum. And actually it became very interactive. And finally, when the corrections were posted, many people felt relieved. But that's not a good way of doing things. I completely agree with you. You have mentioned a few books while course catalog like Raymer, where I can access these books. So Sumukh, Raymer's textbook is freely available on the internet. And also you can buy an official copy if you are interested in the hard copy from the AIAA. Okay, they are easily available, and I don't know which city you are living, because if you are living in Mumbai, then the IIT Bombay library has many copies. But you just do a Google search on aircraft design by Raymer. The previous versions of Raymer has got 6 editions. Okay, so I think the earlier editions are very, very easily available online. So you don't have to really worry. However, nothing like buying a book and using it officially, because the feel of the book comes when you have it in front of you. Soft copies have their own limitations, although we use it. So if you're living in Hassan, Karnataka, and if you physically want a book, one place where you could go would be, I don't know, either in Bengaluru, there is the IISc library. They will have definitely the copies of Raymer. Many colleges will have it in Karnataka. And I don't know, there are other cities, like if Manipal is not very far, MIT Manipal library will have the book also. But Sumukh, I'm sure if you do a simple Google search on aircraft design plus Raymer, you will get the soft copy. Rohan Ramachandran, last live session you had told me that you will suggest some books for rotorcraft. Yes, there are good books for rotorcraft. There is one book by, I think, Gesso and Mayers, which I used to refer, and now new editions have come. But Rohan, if you can just send a message in the discussion forum, it will remind me, and through the TAs, I will send you the list of books which I recommend for helicopters. There are some new books which have come now in the market, which are very useful. In fact, I think from IIT Kanpur, there is a book by a professor, Professor Venkateshan, who is an expert in helicopters, especially in helicopter vibrations. I think he also has written a book on helicopters. Okay, so no problem. And Sumukh, if you face any problem, you can send a mail to us and we will try to help you. But I'm sure Google will be more useful to you than me, at least for the purpose that you are writing. So Rohan, can you tell me where are you attending the session from? Where are you studying? Which college? Which class? Which branch? Which year? I think all of you who are asking the questions, you should actually mention your. You should mention, like for example, Sumukh has mentioned he lives in Hassan. I'd like to know from which college he is, what branch, which year. Similarly, other student like Rohan and VVM, your question has not yet come. Please post your comment once again. Yashpal says, sir, why don't you write one book on aircraft conceptual design? Because there are already so many books available which are very good. I don't see any need because I have nothing new to offer in aircraft conceptual design. However, I am planning to write a book in one more topic where I have got some experience and expertise, and that is on the area of lighter than air systems. So, hopefully I will come up with a book in that subject. So Sumukh is waiting for admission in engineering, and Rohan is in Amrita in Coimbatore, living in Coimbatore. He is in third year. Very good. Okay. VVN has not responded yet. I don't know whether he's still there in the meeting or not. Maybe he got very upset because not we, but my assistants were deleting his comments. Okay, so we are open to queries now. Okay, so VVM has a very interesting question. I'm not getting aerospace in top colleges for BTech. Can I take ECE over EE or ME in top colleges other than IIT? Well, I would suggest that you take ME or EE in that order of preference. ECE, you may be little bit restricted. If you take ME, mechanical engineering, from good colleges other than IIT, then you have a very good chance of doing a master's in aerospace engineering. In fact, you can even do a lot of courses in aerospace engineering while doing a BTech in mechanical. Maybe you can work on some projects in aerospace engineering, because aerospace engineering is nothing but an application of mechanical and electrical engineering. Okay. The other option you have is to take engineering, electrical engineering or civil engineering, and then you can do masters. Rohan wants to know what would you expect from me to know after completing this course. In fact, Rohan, if you go back to the first video of this course, I have actually made one slide where I have told students what to expect after completing this course. So rather than asking me this question, I would request you to go to the course overview video. And in the course overview video, you will get the answer to this question. I have made one specific slide where I say expectations from the course, outcome of the course. So I suggest you read that. If you still have a doubt, you can contact us, then we can respond to you. But I don't want to answer a query which is already available as a material in the pre-course talk. Okay, we are open for another 15 minutes, after which the session will be terminated. So this is your time, your chance to ask questions and to interact. So VVM, maybe you will go into mechanical or electrical engineering in some college, and then please come to IIT Bombay for MTech. Yashpal Singh Parmar has said in the second video. So is that regarding the course expectations, Yashpal? Okay. All right. Any other query or any other comment anybody would like to put? Pranay has a question. How to build myself for solving problems like the one in IRCC or developing solutions for competitions? Only by hard work and by practice, my friend. There is no shortcut. Pranay, the first time you work on a problem, you may not succeed, you may fail, but doesn't matter. Second time, third time, fourth time, it will become easy, and then you will probably start winning the competitions also. So the only way is hard way of taking part and solving the problem based on the information that you have. Yashpal Singh says, Sir, have taken any course on preliminary design of the aircraft for further process after construction? No, not me. Not me. Actually, preliminary design is difficult to be done in a classroom environment because it actually goes far beyond any conventional approach. But I would suggest one thing. There is one NPTEL course by my old professor called as Tula Purkara. Tula Purkara from IIT Madras, where I did my MTech. I was his student. I have taken courses under him. He has recorded and made the first course under NPTEL on aircraft design. And his material is actually more than conceptual design. It goes into the preliminary design, I think. So you can try there. Rohan says, are there any alternatives for internships? Is it that we only learn more from internship or anything else we can embolden our basics? No, Rohan, could do a BTech project in a specific topic and learn through that also. Internship is one way of learning, but that's not the only way. Industrial projects or taking up live projects is also another way of learning. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay. So Shantanu has clarified that we have not deleted any comments. Okay, it is, but it's okay. It's glad. So you thought that somebody is deleting, but anyway, we have answered your question. Right. So Rohan, what you could also do is you could actually do what is called as an external project. That means as a BTech student from Amrita University, you could actually do your external project in IISc Bangalore or in some other college, some other institute. So many students do that. At the BTech level, it becomes some colleges allow the students to spend the last semester or one full semester outside their college to do their projects. So that is a good way of actually getting exposure into a specific topic. You have to identify a faculty member who is interested in giving you that one semester internship, and then you can do it. So you can write to me also if you are interested to work. However, I must tell you one thing, that two things. IIT Bombay, first of all, charges quite heavily for this external project. We charge a fees of, I think, rupees 35,000 to allow a BTech student to come for 6 months. And there is a fee of, I think, 15,000 rupees for a 2 month internship called as summer training. Also, we don't give accommodation to students on our campus because we have a huge shortage of accommodation for our own students. So you will have to figure out your accommodation. You will have to pay some registration fees, which the number is available on the official web page of the Academic Office of IIT Bombay. Search for Academic Office IIT Bombay online, and you will get a link for or external projects or summer internships. So there you will get the rules and regulations. So many students come to IIT Bombay and work with professors like me. I have also taken many students under that scheme. Even some MTech students are coming. Even right now, as I speak to you, there is one MTech student from a college in Pune called DIAT, Defense Institute of Armament Technology. He is doing his MTech project in our laboratory. So many students come for MTech projects because that is for 1 year duration. I like that because then I can really give a challenging problem. Some students come for 6 months, and some students come for only 2 months. That is normally during the summer vacation. So the most common internship that I give to students is to help me create content for the new courses which I am going to do, or improving the content of the existing courses. Rohan has a question about, can we do external projects online? The answer is yes, you can do, but I'm not interested because during the pandemic, I had no choice. So I had taken some 15 interns like that, and they helped me in creating content for a course which will come on NPTEL very soon, hopefully, called as Introduction to Air Transportation. Right now, I'm teaching that course in IIT Bombay, and I have a plan to record that course under NPTEL very soon. Okay, so during the summer break, many interns helped me in creating content for that course, which I use in the class after modifications. So when people come to me for summer internship, I normally utilize their presence for these kind of things. Okay, so because for 2 months, if you come, you really cannot do any serious project. So to answer your question, Rohan, external project online, I'm not very keen on that because I see that it doesn't give much output, except for content generation, for which people have already helped me in the past. Pranay says, is reading research papers encouraged in early years of engineering? If then what, how, and which one to target? Yes, Pranay. The earlier you start reading technical papers, the better it is for you. Of course, you have to understand that papers are generally at a level higher than what you may understand. So first you should start reading the student papers, papers written by students. So there are some journals which have special sections for papers written by students. One of the journal is the Journal of Aerospace Science and Technology of the Aeronautical Society of India. If you go to their web page, you will find soft copy of the journals. In each of the last few years, even my students have published articles. In the latest journal issue, there is a paper by your teaching assistant Namanuddin, based on some research work he did with me as part of his internship. So there is a paper by Namanuddin. Please read that paper because it is written by a student, so it will not have content beyond the ability of a typical student. Um, that way you can start building up your knowledge and your expertise in reading the papers, and then you can slowly go deeper into more technical and detailed papers. But start with simple papers. So I remember there are, I think, 3 papers written by my students. my interns or my students in the Journal of Aerospace Science and Technology. At least two of them I can remember. One by Namanuddin recently. One is going to come very soon. It is under review right now. It is under review right now. So if Pranav is there in the meeting, he can type at least the title of the paper that is under review. We expect it to be accepted. So Pranav, if you are there, please tell everybody about what paper is expected to appear in the Journal of Aerospace Science and Technologies of the Aeronautical Society of India. Oh, Nawan is back in the meeting. I thought he was away and I thought he was busy, but he's back in the meeting. So yes, if you want to read our paper, write to us and we will share it with you because we have the copyright with us. So we can share the paper. Okay, so Pranav has also mentioned the title of the paper that he is going to, that we expect to be selected or accepted for the journal. We don't know for sure. It's right now under review. This is also a paper in design, and that's why I think students of this course will be able to appreciate that paper. Um, the other thing I want to tell you is that I actually have a lot of interaction with students of various colleges. If the college invites me, I'm very happy to go and conduct sessions for students or conduct guest lectures. Sometimes we can even do it online because it's not easy to travel every time and also not affordable. So those of you who are interested, you can talk to your college authorities and we can, if they invite us, Namanuddin is conducting a very interesting workshop on OpenVSP, which is a part of this course that you have studied. He conducts a very nice session on OpenVSP. He has been doing it for some colleges recently. Similarly, we can do workshops on topics like indoor airship design. We can do workshops on any topic that you are interested. You just have to request your college authorities to contact us, and then we will revert back. Okay, friends, just a few minutes remaining before we can close. 3 minutes remaining to be precise. So if there are any last minute questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, let me just go ahead. I have to thank a bunch of people. So, okay, so here is wishing good luck to all of you in your final examinations. Okay, we hope you are going to do well in your exams and we hope that you will be able to handle the examinations easily. Before we close, I want to acknowledge a few people who have been very helpful. Uh, Firstly, the entire studio team of NPTEL in IIT Bombay, who have been helpful. The names are all mentioned here. Okay, there are people who do the recording, there are people who do the editing, there are people who do all the planning, etc. They are all there. Then there is a web team of NPTEL which uploads all the material on the web and regularly upload the assignment, etc. We are thankful to them. And the two teaching assistants, without which I really cannot work. They are my left hand and my right hand, basically. Without their participation, I just can't conduct this course because it is very difficult for me to actually find time to do all the work that they do. Yes, they work in association with me. Everything that they put is normally discussed with me. So I am responsible for all the content. I'm not running away from that, but I would like to thank them for being with me throughout this course right from the beginning and ensuring that things go well. So with that, I would like to stop today's session. Thank you so much for being with me, and I hope to see you sometime in person very soon. Thank you and have a very good evening. Bye.